What's going on with the sickness.net? It's your boy Coop, man. Y'all know what time it is. It's interview time. Got somebody on the line. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the listeners, please?
Yo, what's up? It's DJ Jelly. ATL legend, young legend, stamp of approval. One of the godfathers and creators of Southern, especially Atlanta Southern hip hop. One of the forces in that whole movement. What's up?
Yes, sir, man. Please, you just mentioned. Can you kind of give us like a brief introduction to your start of music? Some of the people you work with and things like that.
Basically, I was like the first, whatever they call celebrity DJs of our times that started in the early '90s, and I helped break a lot of music. My first big situation was helping break Outkast, being a part of that movement. Dungeon Family, So Def, All Star, Bass, all of the bass artists of that '90s era. I broke a lot of New York artists in the Atlanta market as well. Bad Boy. We can go down a list, especially a lot of the '90s music. And then eventually going into Millennium, all of Little John and T.I., Jeezy, and coming up to now, Travis Porter, to Waka Flocka. Just always helped bridge the streets of Atlanta and the streets of the South to radio. That's been my thing.
Okay, so is that where the moniker of the stamp of approval comes from?
Exactly.
Got it.
I'm always helping, and a majority of those artists I usually help, like, definitely when they're like in their infancy, majority of the time. And K-Count, and I eventually just bridge them over into the radio world, make those connections with them, because I know everybody on the street side and on the radio side, so I just bring those worlds together.
I see. So mentioning the celebrity DJ.
What they call now celebrity DJs. I kind of paved the way for DJs like the Dramas and the Screams to get to really have Southern music exposed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, being on MTV, man, it's definitely outstanding because you've been on both networks, BET and MTV.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and my partner, we started the first hip hop street label in Atlanta called Big Oom Records, and we put out people like Sammy Family Hitman, Baby D, who was real popping during the crunk era, and the Kid Unk, the Walk It Out Kid.
Right. So, how did you even get casted to be like the first celebrity DJ? It was just because you were just making all that noise in the streets and had all the right connections.
First, before I hit radio, I was just doing it hard in the streets, doing the whole Freaknik era. Me and my partner MC Assault. So we would because hip hop wasn't really big on radio. They had the Fresh Party, but that was like from 9 to 10, only on Saturdays in the '90s. So hip hop wasn't really big on the radio. And what we would do was just mix up everything and put out different series of tapes, cassettes in. We would do like the gangster mix. We do like the love mix where we put in the 808 beats in it. We would do like a booty shake type mix. We would do different series of hip hop tapes. And basically we would break all the artists during that time through those tapes before radio. And then eventually 3 years into me doing the mixtapes, I eventually started doing the mix shows on the radio and bringing that flavor from the streets on the radio. So yeah, man, the early '90s, they really didn't have hip hop wasn't strong. So we basically had like the Bible of Atlanta. Like, of course, when the Freaknik was popping in the early '90s, mid '90s, everybody would see, well, damn, what's on the Jelly Assault tape? And they would hear all the new stuff and take it back to Indiana or to New York or back to the West Coast. It would kind of gauge what was actually going on in our neighborhood, not knowing that the neighborhoods would become popular. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
At that time, we were just in motion. Everybody was just in motion, doing stuff, trying out stuff.
Indeed, man. For some of us West Coasters out here who might not be familiar with bounce music,
With who?
Bounce music.
Yeah. New Orleans.
Can you explain what exactly bounce music is for some of us or some of the people who don't know?
Now, I'm not well versed. You might have to call my partner Manny Fresh up, but it's some real spiritual party music that's in New Orleans. And the Browns breakbeat, it's a popular breakbeat that they use, and the Triggerman breakbeat from the Triggerman song Showboys out of Boston, who your boy from Love and Hip Hop is a part of. What's my man? With the Source? Why can't I think of his name? I'm tripping. Benzino. Well, anyway, they had the popular song called the Showboys, Triggerman. And a lot of those artists would use those samples and have a bouncing type beat, and they would party to it in the streets, in the music. And they would have different dances. So New Orleans had their thing, and Atlanta was influenced a lot by New Orleans because you got people like Yin Yang Twins, all that Whistle While You Twerk, all the twerk music. That comes from New Orleans. So Atlanta was influenced by from New Orleans a lot with the bounce music. We were heavily influenced in the 90s by the bass music that came out of Miami, and we were heavily influenced by the crunk era that came out of Memphis. So that's where you get all this stuff coming out of Atlanta. Something that we created really was more of the trap because of the geographic location and the terminology we use. So we created more of that, but we fused a lot from Memphis, New Orleans, and Miami, which a lot of people might not even admit. In the 90s, that's how we got into all our crunk and all our stuff that we got from there, and all our twerk music, and our dance music. Yeah,
got it, man. Speaking on the 90s, and you being from Atlanta, and you being especially one of the first people to get things out and break artists and things like that, I want to talk about the infamous Freaknik, man. that brought a lot of. Nothing like it. What happened to the Freaknik?
I mean, I think the city just got, tired. I mean, even though we're in a predominantly black city, I think, racism exists. It just does. And they got tired of it, and they didn't know how to really control it. And I'm pretty sure the city, they wanted to redo the face of the city. They were like, well, we don't want that hanging around. We don't want all them black kids like that around here, kicking and dancing and partying in the street. That shit got huge because all the kids from all around the United States, even from the islands, from London, started coming here for Freaknik. It got huge. It was something that spiraled out of control in the good way for us because, I mean, with any college festival, you're going to have incidents. That just happens. But it's just the fact that all these black kids from all these places in our city, we're trying to really change it after the Olympics and make it more of a New York, and they just was fed up. It was like no more of that, no more blocking up the highways. Plus, the transit system here in Atlanta is not that good yet, which I'm hoping they continue to work on expanding. So the traffic was always a bitch, always. But yeah, they didn't want that around. They didn't want all them black kids running around here for the next 10, 12 years while they doing all this new stuff. They didn't want that. And they made it apparent. And they brought it to everybody's attention. Like, look, this is it.
So how did it come about? Mm-hmm. How did it come about? Like, who was the one who started it?
Now, that I don't know who originally started it. I just know that I went to one of the first ones in the park, man, like in 91, and people just gathered. I mean, different fraternities. I actually, I'm about to do this documentary that's coming up, dealing with Freaknik, and I know I'm running some of the old heads who started. You know what I'm saying? Because I was a baby-based high school coming into that stuff. So I'll find out more as far as who. But I know a lot of the fraternities, sororities were meeting up in the parks and stuff and kicking it, and everybody just started coming to hang. Definitely.
Oh, okay. I see. So it was probably more. It started more off maybe just as a big college function that just turned.
Yeah. Basically, all the colleges like AUC. Yeah. Everybody just kicking it, different frats and sororities.
That's crazy.
And what's so crazy? A lot of them started organizing and and doing concerts, like at Lakewood and stuff. And so that started formulating, and I mean, we would get like booths and all kinds of stuff, selling tapes, and because that whole flea market vibe was a part of the Freaknik, and they started getting bigger facilities holding it to have people party and sell stuff. Because it's like the swap meet or something. Atlanta has a lot of flea markets, and a lot of music in the early '90s were channeled through flea markets. Everybody was selling tapes. 666 Mafia, they were coming down, slinging their tapes. And you had different people like DJ Smurf, who was not Mr. College Park. He was a part of a big DJ crew. They were slinging their tapes. So the flea markets were very vital at that time for us. It was jumping, along with the strip clubs as well, as far as playing the music. Then you would go to the flea markets and, of course, get the music. That was how that actually worked during that time.
Right. Is there anything similar to that going on now since it's been over?
Not really. I mean, because you got different things now. You got the internet, which is a whole big, part of the system now. So, you know what I'm saying? But I think, and I'm just speaking in terms of like Southern hip hop, I think the streets is still important as well. They go hand in hand. I think even with just hip hop, just really getting that grassroots out, it still is important. Still, you still have to have those clubs. You still have to have those DJs. You know what I'm saying? The percentage rate might be different because you have to have internet presence, and I think street presence as well to go hand in hand when you're dealing with hip hop, rap music.
True. Being that you were DJing, you're one of those rare DJs who actually has broke talent and put new ears onto new talent and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, from what I see from where I'm at, it's not a lot of that going on right now.
No. It's out of control.
Why is that?
Because everybody want to get paid. A lot of people got burned in the 90s and the early millennium when that money was really plentiful. And people got burnt, and people are really, and the unfortunate thing, a lot of people who hold the key to people's success and channels, they just really, I feel that there are a lot of people that are lazy and grumpy, and they're vindictive, maybe just taking it out on a lot of these artists and labels, because they've been burnt in the past, and that's killing it. And I think, and this is of course my opinion, a lot of the older DJs who are in good positions are not really training the younger DJs at all. I just don't see it. They're not passing on that knowledge. They're not showing DJs how to break records. They're not showing DJs even the art of DJing. So that's a big void, I think, that's in like hip hop to me. That's unfortunate. It's not enough of that.
True. Man, because, especially out here on, where I'm at on the West Coast, it's a lot of talent in certain cities, but whenever you go to these clubs and stuff, you never hear these artists' music. You just hear everybody else's music, but you never hear the local.
Because, let's be honest, there's payola, which has been going on with music since the beginning of time, but now with hip-hop, it just got crazy, because, yeah, it's a lot of music and there's a lot of information that's out there, and people get lazy, and they don't try to discover. I think a lot of DJs are stuck a lot of times and not progressive, and they're comfortable for where they're at. I just see that a lot. I just really see that. People are just kind of complacent where they are. They get paid, and they good. That's crazy to me.
Wow, yeah, that is crazy. So,
and it's whack, and it's everywhere. It's not just the West Coast. It's everywhere, really. Especially dealing with hip-hop, it's everywhere.
Wow. So that's probably, and you mentioned payola, and it all starts with the DJs and the locals and the clubs and stuff, and that's probably another reason why you don't hear a lot of independent acts and stuff on the radio besides the politics that be.
Yep, of course. Believe it, you know that. And I think too, it goes back to the whole learning cycle of older DJs and producers not reaching back and teaching, because the quality of music we know, as far as rap and R&B, we know that for the most part, not all of it sounds like garbage. Not all of it, but let's be honest. I grew up. I'm a '70s baby, so I grew up on some real shit. So, but seriously though, people are not teaching and collaborating enough as far as generations. And we gotta step it back up. We gotta get back to it, especially with dealing with hip hop and R&B. We gotta get back to it.
Being a front runner in the Atlanta scene, and you like you said, you're a '70s baby. You come up on the real stuff. So early Atlanta music, like Outkast and the people that followed them, and then today's Atlanta music,
night and day. I mean, it's important though, because Future got a good vibe, but he comes from the lineage of Dungeon Family, so he's smart enough. Really, he can really make some complex stuff, but nobody want to hear no complex stuff. Is it that he found his niche and found his groove, but he's freaking it so well, but he has that knowledge of past, generations of good hip hop artists. So he just ain't out there mumbling. He got some science to his madness. Trust me. That's why his stuff worked the way it does. This man fell off for about 2 years, came back with 3 hard mixtapes. All of them was good and a banging album. Like, every artist can't do that, but he has the knowledge of past stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Like, his knowledge is on point. So that's why he is what he is. He's like the father of the futuristic movement as far as I'm concerned with the hip hop. Like, he got his lane. I respect it. Might not like everything, but that's like with any artist. I didn't like all of Biggie's music. You know what I'm saying? There's no comparison. But, if you got your lane, that's what music is about. In life, really, you create your lane. You got, hey, respect that person. At the end of the day, they created their lane. And he killing them. And all other kids are trying to rap like him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
You know what? I didn't want to cut you out, but you know what? And it's funny, we talking about kids. It's like, me and my partner, he's from New York, we was talking about the Compton album. We was like, why in the hell didn't Dre just go to the hood, find a bunch of young, hungry artists and producers, and just put himself behind them? I think things like, I know it's business, but, we gotta keep the legacy of hip hop going. Like, that goes to that whole thing. Somebody in this camp should be like, you know what? We need to get some more broke down, hard working, just like when they started. I think that would have been even more effective creatively, because they still got the business stuff on lock. So I think with each, mature artist who's been around 10 years plus, has been in the game, we got to start really reaching back and really discovering and creating better music and artists as a whole.
Right. You know what? You hit that on the head, because that's what a lot of people have been asking. Why he just didn't do that? Why isn't a lot of older heads doing that right now?
Yeah. And it's unfortunate, because then you look at something like what's my guy that's out, the white artist who won the Grammy and beat Kendrick out. Macklemore.
Macklemore.
Like this new video, he got like Melly Mel and Kumo D in the video, rocking with him, like stuff like that. That goes back to a respect thing, like, damn, he reaching back. He's a young artist. Not only a young artist, and he's a Caucasian artist, which is predominantly black, but he's doing smart things, his camp thinking. And they bringing those generations together. They crossing it. That's what hip-hop has always been about, though. And we're not on our job. That's just throwing up something else in the mix. Like, we got to really, really be concerned about our music and really start teaching and bridging. And, and that's been, as a DJ, that's always been my thing about bridging generations together and cultures, because that's what hip-hop had become. No other music. Rock and roll did it, R&B did it, but not the way hip-hop did it.
Right.
We haven't seen, this came at a time, internet following it, all that. It's powerful. EDM comes out of it. It's so much stuff that hip hop has created, and not, and it's like that's our music. It's important to preserve it and continue to teach and bridge people together and generations. That's what we have to do, so it don't fizz out in 5 years and only thing we have left is EDM.
Okay. So they didn't,
they didn't in 10, 20 years.
This far anyways.
Right. But, it's all a part of it, of hip-hop and what hip-hop has done and meant.
Indeed.
And now it's such a big gap right now because you got people who are, guys who are in their, 35 to 55 who are just mad and grumpy. And then you got these kids who come from the era of a Soulja Boy that's making stuff at their house on their iPad. And everybody's grumpy, but we're not reaching to these kids and saying, you know what, that's cool. Let me hit you this, or creating schools and all that such. Oh, speaking of schools, I'm just throwing this in. I teach over at the Scratch DJ Academy here in Atlanta. They just started one here last year. And it's been cool to see the kids coming to that school and learning about music. And that's that's just opportunities for them like hip hop heads and older heads to bridge with kids and people, you know what I'm saying? So that's been kind of dope on that end. Because people, we got a real problem going on as far as, man, hip-hop ain't hip-hop no more, DJing ain't DJing no more, but we got to have schools and have these platforms to really show people what's going on. Not beat them over the head, but just introduce them things. And discover what they thinking as well.
So are you an iPod DJ now?
No, man. I got my 1200s out with me most of the time. Them things heavier than the BMW. I'll not even lie because I just like the way 1200s feel. I mean, yeah, I sold my controller. I probably used it half of one time. I didn't even use it really. Just played with it and that was it. That's just me though, as a preference. I don't care what you do, as long as you understand how to rock a crowd and know how to put music together. I'm cool with that. Me personally, I like 1200, Technique 1200. Because the way they push and pull. And you can cut good on them. Then all the digital stuff. But anyway, that's just another story.
Right.
Right.
Man, you got so many accolades on your resume. It's crazy. Several awards from DJ of the Year to DJing in Tokyo. What is out of all your awards that you've received, which one is most dearest to you?
I'm gonna tell you something. It wasn't even an award. I'm gonna tell you the opportunity. It's when I went on the VH1 Southern Hip Hop Honors and DJ for Dungeon Family, and we rocked all the Outkast stuff. This was about 4 years ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was, to this day, that blew me away. And to have the opportunity, just be a part of it, because at the same time, I was always a fan. You know what I'm saying? And it was just that. And it's funny because when Dungeon Family really hit, we were so saturated with the West Coast G-Funk that I was like, okay, we got to have something new. You know what I'm saying? The hip-hop. I was getting beat over the head. Dre and them did their thing and always have. Yeah. But, they just came at that time. And I've always been a fan of Dungeon Family's movement and the music. From Goody Mob. I was actually Goody Mob's first tour DJ. From Goody Mob to Backbone to all of them. And then you got even people like today, like Janelle Monáe, who's a part of that lineage. You know what I'm saying? Just the creativity, the level of creativity that they have in that camp is amazing to me. Like, I've never seen anything like that, especially in the South. It was just so, and in hip hop, they are so unique in their approach to music. They always have been. All them cats. And like I said, Futures is part of that lineage as well. He paved the way for himself and these kids. So it's like, shoot.
True.
Man, octopus over there. Mm-hmm.
DJing in Japan. How
Dope.
was that?
Now, let me hip you to something. Speaking of West Coast, my man, the Dragon, Ricky Lee. Are you familiar with him?
Who?
Ricky Lee. He's out there on the West Coast. Ricky Lee is in the Bay Area. Well, he turned me on to my first opportunity out of the country. I was in the Middle East in '05. And that was, and from there, I just started making connection with a lot of promoters who were in military and who would come from a lot of people out of Georgia would go and, would travel. They in the Army and the Navy, and they would carry my mix CDs and DVDs. So that's how I started making more connections throughout the world. And that was dope. That was a blessing. Because they would be in these places, Japan or China, or you know what I'm saying? It'd be like, yo, Jelly, da-da-da. So that was kind of dope.
So when you out there doing something like that across the country, you slide in your mix something never heard before?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I give my personality, and I adapt to their music as well. And I kind of play everything. It's usually open format, meaning I would play, a lot of anything from dance, electronica, to EDM, and then I get hood on them too and mix that all together. Because that's all the EDM is, really, is hood music with a fast beat up under it. It's like a mix.
Right. That's dope. That's truly dope. So I've been asking everybody I've been doing these interviews with, man. Season is about to kick off. NFL season. Falcons?
No, man. Defensive line still looking a little weak. You hate to say it, but I'm riding with them. I'm not going to even lie. I'm riding with them. With them. You just hope for the best. New coach. It's probably going to take maybe 2 more seasons, maybe. Just to really get a good rhythm. We don't know yet. I don't think I'm doing is cross my fingers and let the games begin. For real. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier in the interview, you started Big Oak Records. I had seen somewhere that you also had a line of record stores as well, right?
Yeah, retail. Mm-hmm.
So, now, do you still have these?
We have 2 left. That's it. We used to have
2 left.
Yeah, we used to have 12 of them back in the day. But that changed with time and the way people get music now. So, but it's cool though. They still come to the spot. People still come to the spot, look for us, and chop it up and drop off stuff. So it's interesting.
Now, being that you've been an owner, part of this business at so many levels, but also to the point of where you have to deal with the consumer on a on the retail level. Then the climate of the music changing the digital. You being a store owner, you said you had 12 stores, now you only have 2. Can you talk to us about that transition, how hard it's been? I mean, and not only, but you still have 2 stores open. So how is that happening?
I mean, in the hood, people have their phones and they have laptops in the hood, but they still I think, especially with hip-hop music, people still like to get physical things. That's not completely gone. I mean, of course, the younger they are, it's different. Because, I'm pretty sure in the next 3 to 5 years, we'll be streaming everything in the world, I'm sure. But people still like to get physical things. I have people that are usually customers from 25 to 55 are the ones that come in and they still look for that physical CD. And, of course, it was depressing once things start changing, internet hit, and we start seeing a decline in sales, and really people were just changing up the way they get music, and we had to learn that, and and we worked from that. So it was difficult at first, but we adapted and got in the mix, and thank God we were able to still have 2 stores, and thank God we can actually still sell CDs for $10, $5 and $10 easy. Wow,
that's cool. And so, you still do you deal with artists as well, bringing their content in? Are you at a one-stop shop or what?
I mean, the artists still come and see me and drop off stuff. Yeah, definitely deal with artists still. I'm hands on. I'm not sitting somewhere far away and I'm far away, but I'm not like I'm there and that's all I do. Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So I still continue in hands on because it's like I'm at the point now where I feel like I'm in I research. I really research now. I'm like a professor of youth research hip hop music. Like that's what I study. So I'm always checking out. I still rock in clubs and all that, and still throw events. Okay. I curate a lot with Red Bull, stuff like that. So I still do a lot of hands-on stuff that deals directly with people and the consumer.
Dope. So what's new in the works right now for DJ Jelly? What you got going on?
Like I said, the Academy is really about to start the new semester Sunday, so that's kind of really where my chips are for the most part. Also, too, I've been managing John Boy. He's the producer and creator of the song Wobble. He has a 14-piece band, so that's been really different and interesting. So I've been managing them for the past 8 months. I mean, we don't open up for Frankie Beverly and Mays. We don't rock the Phillips Arena. Like it's like he has like a New Orleans bounce / go-go hip hop type band. So the Wobble, of course, is a line dance, but he incorporated so many other elements. And a lot of those dudes that's in the band, you know, they went to like the FAMU schools from the black colleges and played. So it's kind of dope to have those elements together. So it's 14 pieces, 6 of my horn. It's crazy. So that's what's been happening on that. And then, of course, I continue to work with artists and consult.
Okay, man. So I gotta for any upcoming DJ right now, for the youth, since you know you've been speaking a lot about them, for the young up and coming DJ, if you can give him some quick wisdom right now about getting him to a next step in his dream chasing, what could that be?
I would tell him to really pay attention to DJs before them, learn from them, and pay attention to people and how people listen to music. And really, from that, just really make sure you have your own personality in the way you approach the music and how you deal with people in life. And make sure that you stand for something. You know, have your own flavor. You know, when I'm telling them to listen to other DJs, I'm not saying necessarily bite them, but say, okay, well, how can I flip the way he brings in that record, or how he mixes that record, or how he cuts that record, you know, how he produces that record. Just take his nuts and bolts and then flip it your way and find a way to make it better for you and make it your own thing without somebody saying, oh, that's the next Dr. Dre or that's the next DJ Jelly. No, be you. You know what I'm saying? Fuse that thing together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Any last words for the listeners?
Love life and love music.